while I was away, Penny kept asking her mom, Connie, what is Daddy doing? Where is he? Why is he in New York City? Like, what is he doing there? And so they started watching the Yankee games together, and Penny started understanding baseball. And, just kind of as a joke, Penny said that she wanted to make a report the way I do on the TV, and she wanted to do her own baseball show. And so Connie filmed it with her iPhone, and they sent it to me, and I loved it. And I put it on Twitter. I didn't know. I thought it was cute, and the fans just loved it. They said, we need more Penny. And I feel like it was this kind of positive, happy thing. In a year that was not very positive or happy for so many reasons. You had this little girl just telling us why she loves the Yankees and she loves Aaron Judge and getting excited about the fact that baseball is back. And it was just fun. And, it was only supposed to be one episode, but now the fans demand more. And so Penny's a star. One company even put her on a T-shirt last year.
What's doing, everybody? I'm Alec. Thank you for watching First Class Fatherhood. Today's guest on the podcast is Bryan Hoch. Bryan is the MLB beat reporter for the New York Yankees. He's been doing it for a long time. He's got a brand new book out titled The Bronx Zoom. The link to the book is down there in the description below. While you're down there, tap the like, hit the subscribe button, and let's jump into it right now with Bryan Hoch on First Class Fatherhood. Joining me now, First Class Father, Bryan Hoch. Welcome to First Class Fatherhood.
Thank you, Alec. Good to be on with you.
All right, let's start right here. How many kids do you have? How old?
I've got two daughters. Penny is age 4. She'll be 5 in July. And Maddie is age 2. She'll be 3 in July. So there's a lot of activity in our house.
Very cool. What kind of you got Penny involved in any sports or activities yet?
We had her involved, and then COVID hit, and so we had to shut that all down. But she was in gymnastics and, all sorts of things, and she loved it. So hopefully now that it looks like we've turned the corner, love to get her involved in t-ball, soccer, all that stuff. I feel like we're going to be making up for lost time.
Yeah, very cool. I love that. And if you could, Bryan, please just take a minute here to hit my listeners with a little bit about your background and what you do.
Sure. I'm the Yankees beat reporter for MLB.com, which, if you're not in the sports world, means basically I go where the Yankees go, and I update people every day on what's going on behind the scenes with the team, whether they win, they lose, who's coming up, who's going well, who's not going so well. So everything you want to know about the Yankees. So I'm definitely in that journalism world, and I've got my third book coming out, which is called The Bronx Zoom. That's coming out on June 8th, and that's a look behind the scenes of the 2020 Yankee season and how it was the most bizarre year any of us have ever really encountered.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, I'm going to hit on the book in just a minute here too, Bryan. And obviously you got to, many people would love to have a position you're in to follow the Yankees around and report on the team. It's an awesome job to have. So along this journalism journey that you've had, about how old were you then, Bryan, when you first became a dad, and how did becoming a father kind of change your perspective on life?
Oh, it's completely night and day. Penny was born in 2015. So I've been on the Yankee beat since 2007. So I had that whole kind of phase where you're flying around the country and you're young and single, and that was great. But, my wife, Connie, and I met. She was actually in the PR department for the Yankees. So it was very much an office romance. And we started dating, and we got married, and then Penny came along. And, it really has changed everything. I feel like it forces you to find balance in your life. And it really, you've probably heard this 1,000 times from everybody, but it shows what's really important in life. And I feel like, whereas in 2009, if I would have been, panicking or freaking out about something at work, I think it gives you that perspective. It's like, all right, this will pass, but what's important is these two little girls that I've got at home, and you put them first. And it really does give you that kind of perspective to understand that, hey, whatever's going on, that is separate, because whether the Yankees win or lose or whatever's happening at work, I'm going to come home, and these two little girls are just happy to have daddy home.
Yeah, well said. And I do hear it a lot, Bryan, and it's important to hear it because so many young men, I talk about the fatherless crisis we have going on in our country. So many kids are growing up without a father or a father figure in their life. And I think so many guys have this false conception of fatherhood being the worst thing that could happen in their life, and they want to avoid it and not embrace it. So it's important to capture that message. And you got two girls right out of Hibbity here. I have 4 kids. I got 4 kids myself, 3 boys. Then we got our girl on the 4th try. So what do you enjoy most about being a girl dad, and are you going to be trying for the boy?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to see if my wife listens to this one. I'm sure she will tune in. I love being a girl dad. I feel like when you get that positive pregnancy test and you find out you're expecting, I honestly didn't care if it was a boy or girl. I just wanted the child to be healthy. And we've been blessed with two healthy young girls, very different, very both energetic, but their personalities are totally different. And we had Penny, and then we found out we were expecting the second one. And I figured, all right, well, it's just going to be another Penny. And it's totally not. Like, she is much more rough and tumble. We've got one who I feel like will be a rugby player, and one who will be a princess or a ballerina or something. So it is cool to just see how different they are. And I love being a girl dad. Honestly, if it happens that we wind up having a third, I wouldn't mind having another girl, because I feel like we've got a handle on this now. I mean, I grew up with a younger brother. I feel like we grew up with boys all around. Like, I don't know, I kind of got the knack of being a girl dad now. I understand how it works, I think.
Yeah, very cool, Brian. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Of my four kids, they couldn't be four more different individuals. So it's so wild to see they all come from the same place, yet they're completely, they're their own person. So it's pretty cool. And one of the main reasons why I reached out to you here too, Brian, is I seen that Penny's 2 cents, and they put that on there on the WPIX. I loved it. I thought it was a great segment. What was the genesis of her getting involved in that? And can we expect to see more of her in the future?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a star in the making, so she is taken to that like a fish in water. The backstory of that is last year when COVID hit, baseball was coming back in July, and we didn't really know what was going on in the world. We didn't know how safe it was going to be for me to be at Yankee Stadium. So I actually wound up quarantining away from my family for 4 months, which was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do. I remember she had her birthday in the summertime, and I showed up with a mask on, and I built a bike for her, but it ripped my heart out to not be able to be there every single day with the girls. So while I was away, Penny kept asking her mom, Connie, what is Daddy doing? Where is he? Why is he in New York City? Like, what is he doing there? And so they started watching the Yankee games together, and Penny started understanding baseball. And, just kind of as a joke, Penny said that she wanted to make a report the way I do on the TV, and she wanted to do her own baseball show. And so Connie filmed it with her iPhone, and they sent it to me, and I loved it. And I put it on Twitter. I didn't know. I thought it was cute, and but I didn't expect anything to come from it, and the fans just loved it. They said, we need more Penny, and I feel like it was this kind of positive, happy thing. In a year that was not very positive or happy for so many reasons. You had this little girl just telling us why she loves the Yankees and she loves Aaron Judge, and getting excited about the fact that baseball is back. And it was just fun. And, it was only supposed to be one episode, but now the fans demand more. And so Penny's a star. One company even put her on a T-shirt last year. And so it's just been wild. It's been a lot of fun. And but I think what I enjoy most about it is that passion is legitimate. Like, she really does like the Yankees, and I think that's cool that she's interested in what I do for a living.
Yeah, that's great stuff, Brian. I definitely think we need to see more of that in the sports. I think it's awesome to see, especially when the kids get involved. And you know what? One of the things with the pandemic, too, is people have kind of lightened up with these Zoom calls and Skype calls, where if the kid is walking around in the background, everyone isn't so crazy over it anymore. Like it used to be a big thing. Like they have to shush the kid out of the room. I think people are more acceptable of it now because everyone's been through this whole year. And I know we've seen the NFL that went in with this with Nickelodeon, made it more kid friendly and stuff like that. I think it's great to see young kids getting involved. Now, we mentioned there too the COVID. What was the experience like? I mean, at the beginning of this thing, COVID, all the sports were canceling, especially early on. The future of what was going to happen with the baseball season was up in the air. Take us through that. I know you hit on this in the book, the Bronx Zoom. What was this experience like for you, beat reporter with the Yankees? Uncertainty. What was the year like for you, Brian?
Yeah, personally, we were in Florida because everything shut down in March, and that was during the heart of spring training. And March 12, the players came off the field, and what they told us at the time was it could be a week or two. And so Connie, my kids were down in Florida with us. We were in a rented corporate apartment. And that's one of the great benefits, by the way, I should mention, of this job, is that they've gotten to see so much of the country and travel with me. And, the Yankees played a series in London, and they were able to tag along. So I was able to bring the kids over there. But that feels like 100 years ago now. So they told us it would be a week or two. So we said, and if you remember, the numbers in New York were not great at that time. New York looked like the last place you wanted to go. So we wound up staying in Florida, and we said, well, if it's a week or two, we'll hang out here. And then a week or two became 4 weeks, and then it became 8 weeks, and then by the time baseball was ready to come back, they said that they would do a second spring training in New York in July. Then we just had to road trip it up there, but we wound up spending most of those quarantine lockdown months in Florida. And Not that we were able to do anything really because, everybody was home. We didn't even go so much as to the beach, but I felt like it was the most uninterrupted family time that we've been able to have. And, there are parts of that I'm getting kind of nostalgic for now. I don't know if that I should say that or not, but I did. Just the fact that it was the most kind of uninterrupted time we had where we could count on, all right, we're going to go for a family walk tonight. We're going to go watch the sunset, on the path out here. And, we're going to make dinner together. We'll have DoorDash groceries or Instacart come in, and we'll kind of bleach those down or whatever the stuff we were doing then. But we'll make a spaghetti dinner, and then we'll watch a Disney movie or something. And it was kind of nice to just do that 7 days a week and not have everything pulling at you. So I don't want to ever go back to that. I don't think we will go back to that. But, in some ways, it wasn't all bad because we got to spend that quality time together. Whereas in May or June, I would have been jet setting around the country, and hopefully the kids would have come with me on some trips. But I know they wouldn't have been able to come on every trip. And so I thought we made the most of it however we could.
Yeah, well said, Brian. And that has been a recurring theme since I've been doing the podcast all through the pandemic, especially from a lot of the elite athletes and stuff like this who have gotten the opportunity to spend more time with their kids because they weren't traveling all over the place. Even the entrepreneurs that come on, they did a lot more home-based stuff. So the silver lining here has definitely been a lot more families have been able to connect and get some quality time together. And then bringing it back into you as a dad here, what would you say are the top values, Brian, that you're hoping to instill in your girls growing up?
Oh, wow, that's tough. I think honesty is the first thing that comes to my mind. I want them to just be solid people. I want them to understand that they're going to make mistakes and that life is not perfect, and you're going to run into dead ends here and there, and you're going to fall down once in a while. But the important thing is to just keep getting up and, to try new things, whether it's, I've never had that kind of food. I don't know if I like that. Try it. Try it once. That's the rule in our house. It's just try it once, and if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And I think that extends to everything in life. I hope that they are experimenting in sports and that kind of stuff. And when they're getting more into school age, after school programs, that kind of thing. Just being open to the opportunities that come. And it's fun. It's kind of strange for me to think this far ahead because they're 4 and 2, but I hope when they're 14 and 12 that they will be, open to all those experiences and making friends and having a variety of friends and just really, everything that I wish I could go back in time and do. I want them to be able to do that and have that opportunity and just go for it.
Yeah, good stuff. And you mentioned there, trying new food. Sometimes I know at that age, dinner time could be a battlefield there at the dinner table. And another one of those could be bedtime, too. Sometimes hard to get them down. What was your bedtime?
No doubt.
What does it look like with the girls? Are you a lullaby guy, a storyteller, a book reader? How does your bedtime routine look with the girls?
We have a calm down movie every night. Disney Plus, that's one of the things from the pandemic that we've continued there. And so we've gotten to introduce them to a lot of the classics that way. So when the clock hits the time and then we turn it on, it's all right, no more of these exciting TV shows. We shut it down and we're going to watch Cinderella or something like that from, and the pacing of those is so different than what is coming out now, because I feel like now with the movies, it's pop, 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 pop. When you watch a movie from 1955, an animated movie, it is a much slower pace. The credits in the opening take about 20 minutes. So they are usually down by the time the movie starts or shortly thereafter. So that I feel like has been a nice calm down for us, and it's good quality time. I feel like that's one thing we're going to keep from the pandemic was that we had a movie every single night at home because there was nothing else to do. And so they love that, and they've gotten introduced to the classics that way.
Yeah, that Sleeping Beauty can put you to sleep. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And then just real quick hitter on the book here, the Bronx Zoom. Is some of that in the book going to cover? I know you mentioned they're quarantining away from your family. Do you cover the athletes as far as their relationships, what they were going through with their kids and their families, and where can the listeners pre-order the book? And I'll put the link in the description of the podcast.
Sure, yeah, it is a baseball book, but it's also a human book, and it's a 2020 book, and there was this intersection with everything happening in the world with, social justice and this presidential election, and of course the pandemic, and it all kind of came together, and I'm proud of the way we were able to put it together and tie it all together to baseball. So the way I explain it, it's kind of like living in 2020 with a ball game on in the background. And yeah, I do talk a lot about what the players did, because these guys are such creatures of habit. It's we're going to Kansas City on this day, we're going to Boston on this day, boom, 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 here's a homestand, and that all just disappeared. And now they were all on their own deciding, should I stay in Florida? Should I go back home? How am I going to train? None of the gyms are open. What do we do? And really, it was just, I mean, the world was upside down for everybody, but in the world of professional sports, it really was, because these guys were gearing up for a season. They were 2 weeks away from opening day, and then the plug just got pulled. And it's like, what did they do with that? And so we answer all that. And of course, the challenges of getting back on the road and traveling in a baseball season where there were no fans allowed in the stands, and just this kind of bizarro universe where hopefully it's something we'll never have to see again. Now fans are getting back. The ballparks are getting full again. It's been great to see. 2020, I feel like we were experiencing history in a lot of ways, and hopefully we captured some of that. So it's available for pre-order anywhere books are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Comes out June 8th. So thank you.
Very cool. I'm going to drop the link in the description of the episode so my listeners can go over the tab. I know just from talking to some of the athletes during the pandemic, like, you're right, they're so routine based, and you move that food bowl over 2 feet, they starve to death. Like, you know, they're so honed in on what they're doing. You know, so what about for you here, Brian? What kind of I know right now you're doing the Yankee sideline reporting. What kind of goals or plans do you have for yourself for the future?
Oh, wow. Honestly, I grew up loving baseball. Baseball was my dream job. If you had gone back in time and told 14-year-old me that one day I would get to go to Yankee Stadium and that would be my job, I could go anytime I want. I not only could go, I would have to go and talk to the players whenever I want. That would be a dream for me. So I don't know what opportunities are ahead. Right now I'm enjoying the writing, the on-air stuff. We've definitely done more of the digital media, which, when I started this in 2007, it was basically you write on a blog and you write your news story, and that's pretty much it. Now with social media, there's so many different ways to connect with fans. I feel like you're doing some podcasting, you're doing some video, you're doing the writing still. You got to really kind of be a jack of all trades. So I like kind of getting my feet wet in all that, and who knows what opportunities come. There might be another book in me. I could see that happening. Let's see if the Yankees win a World Series. It's been a while since 2009, so I think they're due for one.
Yeah, right on there. And the last thing I'm going to hit you with here, Brian, I'd love to ask all the dads that get on the podcast, what type of advice do you have for that new dad or for that about-to-be father who's out there listening?
You can't bank the sleep. Everybody told me, hey, you better sleep now before the baby comes. It doesn't work that way. It's not like taking it to the bank and you can't withdraw it from a checking account. So you just got to roll with it. I mean, yeah, you're going to get 2 or 3, 4 hours of sleep for a while. It's okay. It's a phase. It does end. And I would say I don't mind changing diapers. There's not a lot of things, especially with a newborn. There's not much you can do. Really, a lot of that falls on the mom. Help out around the house. Like if you can change a poopy diaper or something. If that's the worst you got to do, it's not so bad, and you get used to it, and at least you're pitching in. But I feel like that's the one thing. Connie and I have been a good team throughout all this, throughout all the challenges we've had. Not just with the kids, but with the pandemic, as we're talking about. I feel like we've been able to communicate. I think that's important too. Look, it's not always going to be perfect, and if something's a little off, talk about it, figure it out. Don't just ignore the problem and hope it goes away. So it will be the greatest challenge of your life. It will also be the greatest reward of your life, and just embrace it, because it is a wild ride and it changes every single day.
Yeah, very well said. I love the message. Let's get more of that Penny's 2 cents going on there. Book, the description, the link to the book is in the description of the podcast episode. Bryan Hoch, you're a first-class father all the way. And thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time here on First Class Fatherhood.
Thank you, Alec. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.